Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event objectives for the Purple Rain event, in which the Amethyst Giant is added to the game. So we have 1.5 billion events going on this week. So we have Guild Wars, the second ever Legends Reborn event, as well as Bounty Hunter this Friday. So 3 big events all on the same week. So quite a busy week. Let's start with the new troop that we're going to be getting. So this is a great time to stock up on green purple. Green purple, a very relevant color as well for arcanes, as there are a lot of empower troops that end up utilizing green and purple. I believe green purple has the highest amount of empower numerically as any other typing in the game. So that's pretty nice as far as any kind of coloration. So definitely a great time to be stocking up. Obviously one of the more obvious ones is Leprechaun. However, there are also Siren and several others. As far as this troop is concerned, it is pretty average. It's the category of giants that we've been getting that are all elemental giants that all have deal damage to an enemy, converts some of a color to their color in giant gem version, and if they get hit by a skull, they create a giant gem of their own color. In this case, of course, purple, and specifically yellow to purple in the case of its ability. Overall, these troops aren't bad. They're just very situational as to when you'd bother bringing them out, and there are generally better ways to mana accumulate that don't end up specifically utilizing these. They're definitely not bad by any means. They're very, very usable and can be incorporated into teams. However, there's just better options in many situations that are just safer, more consistent, don't require alignment or anything like that, that you're generally going to be using rather than touching these things. So, well, unfortunate in that regard. However, you can still get it for the upgrade, and you can still get it for the much needed trait stones there if you're earlier on in the game. However, if you're later on in the game, Karakoth can now reach 25 star. This actually gives an extra 2,000 gold per day as far as the 25 star reward. Otherwise, you can use it to be able to get 10 star, 20 star, stuff like that a little bit easier. But at its current max, extra 2,000 gold per day. Not much, but it adds up over time. Helps with those gold requirements for later game guilds, if nothing else. So, of course, with this being a Karakoth week, we do have Karakoth event key drop table. Keep in mind, the Mythic that came out last Friday that we just covered a video on, that Mythic is still available for the next 4 days, today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then at Friday reset time, it'll no longer be available, or at least not as the exclusive thing in Glory Gem Guild and VIP chests. However, all this week, including during those 4 days, is the event key drop table for Karakoth, where you can end up getting the Karakoth Mythic. And when I say Karakoth Mythic, I mean Karakoth Mythic, because there's actually only one, because even though Zugoth is a Mythic, it is not in the event key drop table. Everything not in the event key drop table includes Zugoth, the 4 Doomgaroth troops, and I believe there was one other, or was that it? And that was it. Oh, sorry, and also Mizmer. Mizmer's also not. So there's 6. Mizmer, obviously Zugoth, and the 4 standard faction troops are not in the drop table. Everything else that you see here is. Bottom line is a very skippable week for event keys. Unless you're lucky to get this place upgraded for the bonus, and this place does have a pretty good bonus, so it might still be worth considering in that regard, as this kingdom does end up giving you a magic bonus. So whenever you end up getting to 5 star there, you get an extra magic. When you get to 10 star there, you get an extra magic. When you get to 20 star there, you get an extra magic. If 30 star eventually exists, you'll get an extra magic. But yeah, it is a magic-based kingdom. So in that regard, it is worthwhile simply for that alone. So if you need to close the gap, if you're close to 10, if you're close to 20, it might be worth considering opening some event keys. If you're already at like 21, you probably don't need to bother at all. And this is just something you really wanted to pick up. Overall, the drop table itself is pretty bad. The only particularly good thing here is Zugoth, and that is not in drop table. You have to get that in Soulforge using power orbs, of course. If you go to standard Soulforge, he's just always sitting there all the way. Somewhere's here, Zugoth. Gosh, so many options here. But, he's always craftable with 8 power orbs and the other little bit of resources there. However, he is not in event key drop table. So, in regard to many of the other events that we have going on this week, let me actually go to, I guess, let's go for the Guild one next. So, of course, we have standard Guild Wars. As far as Guild Wars, nothing really different here. Of course, go make sure to go set all of your defend teams to the correct ones, of which I have not actually done yet. But make sure each one corresponds to the correct colors if you already have the preset ones. Make sure they are all good to go. Make sure they're all unique so you have the extra full 12,000. We'll be doing this every single night, of course, as we normally do, just kind of going over it, messing with it, see what we could do. Maybe mess with some different things that we haven't actually tried out with, because I was like trying experimenting around. As the reward you get, of course, isn't really that good. You're mostly just looking for the leaderboard thing where you get a little bit of troops in this week's that are Uri. Anyways, yeah, pretty standard Guild Wars. Aside from that, world events also kind of standard. We have extra spell damage, which, you know, that's always nice whenever it's not skull damage only. As skull damage only is the most annoying. So, really easy to remember what room you need to take. It is simply rarity order. However, always take Amethyst Giant. However, Amethyst Giant has a different icon. It has like a circle-ish icon. So whenever you see Amethyst Giant, always take Amethyst Giant. It has a purple little icon. However, it is highest priority. But other than that, it's just rarity order. So you take the mythics first, then the legendaries, then the epic ones. However, every single time you see that purple Amethyst Giant one that's like a circle icon, you should always take that as the highest priority, even above that of mythics. It should occur, I believe, about every several battles it was, like 4 or 5 this week. Actually, what was the number on that? I believe it's every... It was every 4. Yeah, every 4 battles. You'll then end up getting a spawn of the other one, and then just end up taking the giant every single time you see the giant then. And then otherwise, it's just rarity order. So overall, pretty straightforward, rarity order, but always take the giant when you see the giants. And that's all you need to do. I believe a couple of the other ones that had the giants were also very similar to the scoring, so same as that. Anyways, aside from that, we have a billion other things here. Of course, let's start with the Legends Reborn. So this is the second return of Legends Reborn, in which basically how these work is we end up getting 4 pets, and by 4 pets I mean realistically 2 or 3 pets, depending on how you look at it. So we get 4 pets, all for the same kingdom. So now this kingdom of Shentang will pretty much never need another pet again. So there are 2 that you can get for free, a third one that is much cheaper than normal, and a 4th one that you should probably ignore. So first we have the one for the story, so you can replay through the storyline if you want to. In doing so, you will end up getting copies of one of the more common ones to end up buffing the Bahu here, which unfortunately is not that good of a troop, but hey, it's another free. It's basically a free max pet. You just play through the storyline 5 times over the course of 14 days. It unlocks a new one, I believe, every like few days. I think it's 3 days or so. We end up unlocking a new one, and you just play through all those, and you get a free pet, completely maxed. Good to go for Shentang. Another one that you get for free simply from killing a bunch of yellow. So if you defeat yellow enemies to earn magical energy and unlock more pets and rewards. So if you simply just go and kill 300 yellow enemies over the course of 2 weeks, which you should probably do by doing anything for the most part, even just doing dailies will likely get you pretty close to hitting 300 yellow. Obviously, if you want to rush that down, just go to like White Helm or something similar that has a high concentration of yellow, and simply just farm there for under an hour, and you'll have your 300 kills. And very easy. You probably don't even need to target it. Just wait till you get it done passively, as you'll easily hit 300 yellow kills over the course of 2 weeks, that is for sure. But yeah, in doing so, you'll end up getting a maxed out pet that will end up upgrading Spearmaster. Spearmaster pretty good early on in the game, so if you are currently early on in the game, nice true damage option. Later on, you don't really use it other than for anything but Arena. However, in the context of Arena, you can't actually utilize it, unfortunately. Next, we have the one for Emperor Liang, which unfortunately, not that good of a troop. However, one thing that is pretty relevant about these gem-related ones is, while it might seem like a decent handful of gems, it is substantially cheaper than gemming down a pet normally. So if we add all these up, 250, 500, 850, and 1,350. Did I do the math right? Yeah, it's somewhere around there. Is it 1,250 or 1,350? Oh, wait, 500, 500. Yeah, it's 1,350. So for 1,350 gems, you can end up getting a maxed pet, and along the way you also get all the red food that you need for it, as well as a pet gnome bait to trigger a pet gnome, and a curse gnome bait to get anywhere from 10 to 15 curse runes. So you'll be able to get all that for 1,350 gems. This might sound like a lot of gems, but you have to keep in mind, if you're going to go and let's say you found a pet from your guild, or it's a Wednesday pet event and you want to go max it, on average you're going to be spending about 2,500 gems in order to max that pet. So you're basically able to do this guaranteed at half the price for only 1,350. So if you were already planning on upgrading some pets or just want one for basically half price, as far as gemming it up, these are generally worth going for. Unfortunately, the pet bonus here not that good for overall, but I'm probably still going to go for it since it's a substantially cheaper amount to end up upgrading it. Plus, we get a guaranteed pet trigger as well as just a little bit of curse shards there, which isn't much, but you know, a little bit extra value there. And then we have the money locked ones. These money locked ones, you're not really necessarily doing it for the pet. However, out of these 4 pets, this is actually the strongest one this time. Last time it was Gem 1 because it was upgrading a 50% mana start troop that had full AoE damage. However, this time it is Honglong for pretty much the same reason. This is a troop that does damage to all enemies, so it gaining 5 to all stats is very beneficial. It's also very tanky with 70% score reduction, so it's able to utilize basically every single stat that it ends up getting. This is by far the best of the pets available. However, it is money locked. And as it ended up happening last time, I believe everything became available immediately except for the money one that came in like a month after or so. It might have went immediately to your drop table. Definitely felt like it was like 4 to 6 weeks though, which makes sense because since it was money locked. But this will be available in like, if you just wait till like November, like late November, this thing will be in the drop table. Just wait until then. It might even be earlier than that. But you'll be able to find this in the drop table just naturally. And then you can just spend 2,500 gems instead of like 80 something bucks in order to max it out. Of course, if you are buying any of these tiers, you're not actually doing it for the pet. You're probably doing it for these side bonuses like deed books, anus, and that's it because that reward's really bad. I guess you're getting a power orb, but you know, power orb, no, the value of a power orb is not that good these days. They haven't been adding anything more to use them on. We don't have another Zugoff. We don't have another Enraged Karandera. Oh no, they kind of stopped adding them, so give a little bit less purpose to power orbs. Long story short, probably stay away from the money tier, as if you just wait like a month or two, you're probably going to be able to max it for either with gems or just naturally over time anyways. So yeah, I would say mostly just obviously pick up the 2 free ones from 300. So essentially to get all the free ones, you have to go play through all these storylines over the course of 2 weeks, which comes out to whatever 24 times 5 is, which is what, this should be 120 battles? Yeah, about 120 battles. Actually, exactly 120 battles to end up clearing all those out, and you'll get a free max pet there. The other way you get a free max pet is just do 300 yellow kills, so that'll be done automatically. And then the next one, if you want to go for, is 1,300 gems for this one. And then there's just the money one, which I believe is 85 bucks, and you should probably ignore that one. A little pricey. I know some people went for like the 15 just so you can get the deed books, so if you find a deed book's worth it, you could maybe do that. Anyways, that's the Legends Reborn there. Mostly just a billion pets for the Kingdom of Shantang. Other things that we have going on this week, and also, of course, that does last for 2 weeks, not just this week. Next, we have the Dugroff faction. This will be tomorrow's faction event. A brown-purple restriction, if not mistaken. Overall, pretty average faction, nothing really too special there. Wednesday, we have the Eyelet, which should be the Mystic bonus. Another pretty average pet that's been out for a while, so nothing too special there either. Thursday, class event Sorcerer, among one of the weaker hero classes in the game. However, because it's one of the weaker ones, is more likely people don't have it upgraded, so you'll be able to get some free XP towards it, if nothing else. And this Friday, we have Bounty Hunter, as I mentioned. As far as the Bounty Hunter troop, we're going to be getting this thing, the Hound of Liang. It is a Fey Beast. Unfortunately, it is very underwhelming, with a very weird mechanic that makes no sense. So it explodes a gem and deals some magic scatter damage, so that makes sense. However, if Emperor Liang is on your team, it barriers the first 2 allies. The reason why this is weird is, when is that ever going to happen in Bounty Hunter? This is a Bounty Hunter troop. Bounty Hunter teams are ran with 4 Bounty Hunter troops. Emperor Liang is not a Bounty Hunter troop. So, yeah, I guess maybe to utilize it outside of Bounty Hunter. But even then, like, you know, there's a billion better barrier options out there for similar mana costs, even just like Dragonian Monk and stuff like that. Like, there's so many better options. So when are you ever using this? Like, obviously you're going to be forced to for next Bounty Hunter event, because there's not really a different choice. You have to for the Bounty Captain. But yeah, beyond that event, it's pretty much never going to be used again. Because inside Bounty Hunter, there's better options, and you know, it'll normally just be the Bounty Captain there in that slot. And outside of Bounty Hunter, when on earth are you ever going to bother using it with Emperor Liang? Just to get a barrier option with other things already being better. So overall, unfortunately, pretty underwhelming bounty troop there. Aside from that, of course, we have ourselves the good old Soul Forge. With the Soul Forge here, we do not have anything too special. One thing to keep in mind, though, because it's a little bit hidden, especially with how mine are ordered. But Hatter and Scroll is available. Not to be confused with Hatter Ascendant and Scroll Reborn. It is a different troop that is not always available, and it is available this week. It converts all greens to Lycanthropy gems and all yellows to Doom Skulls. Very situationally useful. More often than not, it feels like Scroll Reborn is just better to use in most situations overall, because it's basically like Lord of Slaughter, but slightly different. But it's basically impervious Lord of Slaughter with less skull damage output is a way to kind of look at it. But Hatter and Scroll, unlike these other two that are always available, is not always available, so you might want to consider picking it up, as unlike these two, which are always here, this one is not. Though overall, nothing really too special here. Vashtagan for Kirsch, Champion Vanu's like occasionally using some AoE teams. Fallen Valdis is one of the worst mythics in the game. Overall, just not much of a selection. As far as weapons, hey, I can go craft the Ring of Crystal and Ice. Have any of you guys actually gotten any of these weapons yet? How have you guys been doing on Dragonite? I'm kind of just hoarding all mine right now, as you can kind of see. Though we should probably go craft one of these. But anyways, as far as the weapons are concerned, I actually forget if there's a good one this week. There shouldn't be. I don't believe Karakoth had anything particularly good. There's some like really gimmicky ones, as well as like, you know, some standard mana accumulation ones. This one's for Mystic, of course. Aside from the standard mana accumulating ones, there just isn't anything that really stands out. Like, there's definitely not any must-have weapon in this location. It's just some typing-based ones that create a bunch of color, standard explodey weapons, you know, the kind of standard stuff you'd expect for a Mana Kingdom to have. If you specifically want them, obviously get them, but definitely not a single must-have in that regard as far as weapons are concerned. But anyways, guys, I believe that is the full rundown on all the things. Of course, we will be covering the teams a little bit later in a separate video, just so I can go get all of them in and get all the team codes for it. Exactly how many we'll have, I'm not sure, but we'll probably go for about 10 each time, as we've kind of been doing, and show a few of them, see what they can end up doing, and going from there. Anyways, guys, if you still have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like on the videos. It helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.